Okay, so a classic American band that somehow has ended up huge in the UK. It's The Killers. Is this the best of, or is this the actual album? I'm pretty sure this is their best of album, because it starts with Mr. Brightside, then Somebody Told Me, and then you've also got Human on here. When You Were Young, yeah, Read My Mind. So The Killers have got so many good tracks. I don't know quite how they became so big in the UK, because they're Californian, right? I think definitely somewhere in America. Or maybe Nevada. Maybe they're Las Vegas. Is it Las Vegas, Nevada? Something like that. But they're huge in the UK. Like, Mr. Brightside is like an iconic British night out, wedding, like everything song, like any event. It's just, it gets everybody out, gets everybody singing, and I don't know why. So yeah, if you haven't heard that, I'd say give it a listen. Other Killers tracks, When You Were Young. So back when I was, how old would I have been? It would have been 12, 13. It was the first year I was playing guitar. Me and a friend, we wrote parody lyrics for When You Were Young to be When You Are Old. And what was it? I'll see if I can remember some of them. Hang on. When you are old. Wait. Oh no, it's been so long since I did this. Like I said, it's literally half a lifetime ago for me. Oh no. Walking down the... I think we kept some of the lines. What was it? Walking down the something line on the back of a Zimmer frame that you'll be using when you are old. It was something along those lines. Like, but yeah, The Killers, they're such a iconic band in the UK. Obviously, Human is a track, like a great track, but for me, obviously, When You Were Young has a special place because of that. And that parody, we actually performed at a school concert. Oh my days, was it awful. I can't sing. I just really can't sing. But I had to try to sing. And it was me and this other guy playing guitar. There was no like bass, there was no drums. It was just the two of us playing guitar. It's an absolute disaster. Absolute disaster. I can't sing, but I've tried to sing. We had fun, we gave it our all, and that's all that mattered, right? And then the next year we did Wild Thing, and that was a lot better. Still with no drummer though. It was a bass, a guitarist and singer. That went quite well. Wild Thing by the Troggs, that was a fun song, and we had like a bass solo and a guitar solo, because why not? But yeah, anyway, The Killers, you probably know most Killers tracks, I'd hope. If not, like Mr. Brightside, Human, Somebody Told Me, When You Were Young, they're probably the four I'd say go for. Alright, it is actually surprisingly dark outside. It's not very late, but it is not particularly bright. I'm hoping the camera's been coping alright. I've had a quick look and it seemed not too bad. Next up, oh, that's Opeth again. It is! It is Opeth. Which album's this? What album is this? Pale Communion. What? Again, it's another album I didn't realise I owned. I don't even know any of the tracks off of here, so I don't think I've ever given it a listen. I really haven't got much to say about this one, so I'm going to do 2 albums in one video, because I don't know a single track off of it. I've said before, Opeth, you know, they're an epic band, but I've only really listened to Sorceress. That's the album that I've given the most time to, and I really like the vibe of that. The really like earlier, much more heavy like stuff I find hard to get into. But yeah, the Sorceress album is really good. I'm not so sure about this one because I don't know what's on it. But the one I'm going to do with it is a random Kerrang! Nominees album. I'm pretty sure, from what I remember, the CD that was inside this wasn't even matching what's on the back. What's on the back is meant to be, there was meant to be a live cover of The Blister Exists by Slipknot. I'm pretty sure it was before I forget. There's meant to be Foo Fighters. There wasn't a Trivium song, from what I remember. I seem to remember somehow the CD had got swapped out and it was all like wrong, so I don't know. And it's wow. It's got Lordi on there, but it's not Hard Rock Hallelujah. It's a different Lordi song, and it's just got little album images. That's kind of cool. Quite like that. Yeah. So and then it's a random Kerrang nominees CD. Again, don't know where I found that. I'm hoping it was not very expensive because I haven't listened to it very much, and I'm not sure why I'd get it. I guess I knew some of the bands, you know, Green Day, Foo Fighters, Slipknot, Trivium, Avenged Sevenfold. Trivium's actually a band I've not listened to a huge amount. I probably should, because they've got such a like big name, and they're obviously still going today. But yeah, so that's a weird little double there. You've had Opeth for an album that I didn't even know I owned, and Kerrang. Okay, so we did just have one Opeth album, and we got another one. This is Watershed, I believe. Now this one, is this the Lotus Eater. Now the Lotus Eater, I remember that track. I'm pretty sure it's very, very long tracks on this, but this is, like I said, these are kind of the earlier albums that I struggle to get in with. What on earth is going on this? And I mean, I'm assuming that they put it out there and it's like a cipher that someone's fixed, because it's all very peculiar language going on there. And there's just credits at the end. Faded portraits of stuff. Very, very moody, and that early Opeth vibe of the music I get with that that lyric book. Yeah, again, album I not listened to a massive amount. It's early Opeth. I did get like all of the Opeth albums at one point because they were pretty cheap, but I haven't listened to them very much. So the Lotus Eater's the track that's ringing a bell for me off of this one, so that's probably the one I'd say to give a listen to. Whoa, where did he come from? Hello. Okay, Icarus Line. Weird album. Don't remember where I got it from. It was probably a really cheap one. Weird, post-hardcore-y, funky stuff. I think this was live versions as well. I'm not sure, but I really didn't like the sound of it. It was a really cheap album again. Kind of cool lyric sort of style-y thing there, but I just remember it was just hard to listen to music. Not my vibe, unfortunately. I'm sure for some people it's, you know, it's their thing, but I just didn't get on with it at all. And I literally couldn't tell you a track to listen to because, honestly, I don't think there is any tracks that I've listened to and enjoyed. Which, you know, is a shame to say, but it just is the case. What? There's some random bits in here. I'm also going to, I suppose we may as well look. It's a guitarist CD from February 2011 and a Total Guitar CD from number 194, whenever that was. So these had little like play-along bits, whether it was like a scale or if it was a song or parts of a song, and they had some videos and stuff like that as well. It even has a tuning guide, the Total Guitar one, so the first 6 tracks are literally your standard tuning, which is kind of cool. You just play it and then try and match it by ear. It's a fun little thing. But yeah, and they've got like Watch and Learn here, so like Riff of the Month, Coldplay, Strawberry Swing, Iron Maiden riffs, all sorts of bits like that. And then the guitarist one is sort of similar. There's like lessons and stuff like that, which is quite cool. I did used to get both of these magazines for a while. I think I got like a year of both, because that was one of my like grandparents' favourite like gifts. They wouldn't give money, but they would happily do like a magazine subscription or something. So over the years, I had we started with White Dwarf, the Warhammer magazines. Then it was like the Nintendo magazine for quite a while. And then it was the guitar magazines. At one point it was a cricket magazine for a year as well. So growing up, I just, back at my parents' house, there's stacks upon stacks of these magazines that just built up because that was a good present. And they were kind of cool to flick through. Some of the guitar ones I definitely learned songs off of. The White Dwarf ones always had really cool battle reports and stuff like that, and stuff about the new updates and things that were coming out, so that was always cool. And the Nintendo one had game reviews. I distinctly remember a game review for Crazy Frog Racing where it was given like 4% or something, like literally the lowest score that the magazine had ever given. Anyway, that's a weird little combo of bits you've got there, but whatever, it's fine. On to the next one. Now, this box is apparently full of Opeth. It's another very dark cover. And again, I don't recognise the tracks. It's Deliverance is the album. And Deliverance is the one that maybe rings a little bit of a bell as something to listen to. But again, it's not a massive, like, I couldn't tell you how long the song is. I couldn't tell you anything about what the riff sounds like. It's another early-ish Opeth album. It's a really nice white shiny disc going on there, but I'm not a massive fan of that early Opeth sound. Nice portraits in the middle there, pretty solid. Yeah, I don't have much more to say because I can't really recommend a track because I don't really know any of the tracks on it, unfortunately. So that's Opeth's Deliverance. It's a little short video, but yeah, maybe I need to just give Opeth a proper listen because they are really highly regarded. And like I said, I really like Sorceress, so maybe I just need to give those earlier albums a proper listen to try to get my brain into like that kind of gear. Because Sorceress is a really cool album. I don't know. And also I really like the guest heavy vocals that, what's his name? I can't remember Opeth's vocalist, but he guests on Harken's The Architect album. Is it The Architect? Or is that the track? I think it's The Architect is the track. He does some guest growls towards the end of that, and they're really good growls. Like, he has got a great vocal growl, but I just need to, I don't know, I need to listen to the music, maybe be in the right mood for it as well, because I think that probably plays a bit of a part. Because, you know, they're long songs, you've got to be in the mood to be sitting down and actually giving it a proper listen rather than just having it on in the background. I don't think Opeth's one of those bands. So yeah, that's Opeth's Deliverance. Not really got any songs to recommend because, again, it's just one of those albums that I got because I wanted to collect all the early Opeth stuff. Oh, I didn't realise I had as many Halloween albums as I did. Walls of Jericho and Keeper of the Seven Keys. I knew I had this one. This was the first Halloween album I got. Starlight is a great track. Walls of Jericho as well. I distinctly remember them. Interesting artwork going on the back. Fun artwork on the front as well. Halloween are always, they're always a fun listen. Right. Always enjoy it. Oh, this is like a story behind the album kind of thing going on in the inside. Looks of it, kind of cool. As well as actually having the lyrics. Nice, solid. So yeah, Walls of Jericho. I would give Walls of Jericho and Starlight a listen to off of this one. But like I said, there is also Keeper of the Seven Keys. So, for Keeper of the Seven Keys, actually, the song Halloween by Helloween, I remember that being a good one. This is also kind of a story of, so these must have been remastered versions of the albums, I think. that they released later on that have these stories of the albums because it's matching the style. Oh, what is going on there? It's all sorts of artwork and fun stuff. Hopefully the camera's focusing. It's really hard for me to say because there's no monitor. I'm sure it'll be alright. And then it's got lyrics as well. So pretty standard. So yeah, I would say, once again, from Walls of Jericho, you've got Starlight and Walls of Jericho would be the tracks I'd say. And from Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1, probably Halloween. Yeah, none of the others ring a massive bell. So yeah, I'd say Halloween off of there. So yeah, a couple more Halloween albums. Getting through this box, and it's been a while. So here's some Megadeth. And this album really got me into Megadeth. Like, I remember we were on holiday somewhere, I don't remember where, and we went into an HMV, and I think it was 2 for £10 CDs. I picked up Megadeth Greatest Hits and Metallica's Black Album. Not a bad combo. This has great track listing, to be honest. I think it starts with Holy Wars. It does. So it's Holy Wars, In My Darkest Hour, Peace Sells, Sweating Bullets, Angry Again, A Tu Le Monde, Trust, Kill the King, Symphony of Destruction, Mechanics, which is like one of the ones from the earliest album, Train of Consequences, Wake Up Dead, Hangar 18, Death and the Fugitive Mind, Skin of My Teeth, She-Wolf, and Prince of Darkness. Now, you know, at least half of those tracks are like, I mean, they're top 10 Megadeth tracks, right? Like, the only, oh no, Peace Sells is on there. I like a lot of the songs off of the Peace Sells album, and there's not so many of them on here. But I mean, Holy Wars, The Punishment Due is such a good track. That whole album, like the whole Rust in Peace album, is just fantastic. Like, every single track on it, I could happily just sit down and listen to it on repeat. Like, it's so good. It's such a good thrash album. So in terms of tracks that I would recommend listening to if you've not heard of Megadeth before, was Tornado of Souls even on here? I hope Tornado of Souls was on here. If it wasn't, Tornado of Souls is still one you should listen to. Holy Wars, The Punishment Due is iconic, so I would probably say that. Hangar 18 as well, for those fantastic guitar solos that are all going on. If you want something a bit slower, if you're not like a massive thrash fan, like A Tu Le Monde or Symphony of Destruction are probably good options. Sweating Bullets is was Sweating Bullets on this one? I'm pretty sure it was on this Greatest Hits. I'm sure it was like a track that I remember hearing really early on. Yeah, it was. So yeah, this is a great introduction to Megadeth if you've not listened to them. But obviously with stuff like Spotify and whatever, they've just got like, you know, their most played songs and This Is Megadeth playlist. So a lot of it is just on there. But yeah, hard to say no to Hangar 18, Symphony of Destruction, like Holy Wars. There's so many good Megadeth tracks. Mechanics is probably a slightly underrated one. It's got a fun riff that sounds very similar to a certain Metallica song from the first album. Not like the two bands were, you know, linked in any way at the start. No. Mustaine definitely wasn't in Metallica at any point. No, nothing like that. But anyway, there's less of that. So yeah, give Megadeth a listen to. They've always been my favourite of the big four. Just do it. Just do it. This album is still in its sleeve. What is this? What? Why have I... Okay, I don't know why this hasn't been taken out of its packaging, but I have a sealed copy of Avenged Sevenfold's Nightmare album. What? Why is it... Huh, whatever. It's a sealed copy. Fair enough. Second favourite Avenged Sevenfold album, behind the self-titled. Nightmare's obviously a fantastic... I think it's the opening track, isn't it? Yeah. Welcome to the Family, also really nice track. They're probably my top two off of here. Buried Alive as well. I don't remember exactly how that one goes, but it's somewhere in there. It's like, yeah, that was one of the tracks. Because again, Avenged Sevenfold, I've listened to a decent amount, but not enough to know every album's song off by heart. There's only actually a few bands that I would say I've got that with. Dream Theater, apart from their last 2 albums. Megadeth, apart from, well, it's kind of most Megadeth. In Flames, Rage Against the Machine, Hearken, they're probably the main ones. But yeah, so Avenged Sevenfold, give Nightmare, the song Nightmare, a listen, off of the album Nightmare. Because this was the first one that came out after Rev passed away. It has Mike Portnoy on drums, which was, like, for me, that was kind of cool, because I was into Dream Theater at the time as well, so I was like, oh, I want to see how he sounds playing with Avenged Sevenfold, and this was just about when he left Dream Theater as well, so it's like a weird kind of swapping over, and it's like, okay, let's see how he goes. But obviously the drum parts were still, they'd all been written, if I remember rightly, so he's playing the Rev's drum parts that he had written, so the drums had a slightly different sound to them, but the actual rhythm and beat was pretty much all Rev's work, which he'd already completed before he passed. So yeah, Avenged Sevenfold, give Nightmare a listen. Always remember that music video as well. Again, it's a fun song to play on guitar, which I've said so many times, but it's just one of those things that, you know, it helps songs stick in my brain if I've learnt it on guitar. I've just got a cool riff that I want to find out how to play on guitar. And yeah, Nightmare does. Oh, this band not many of you might have heard of. OTEP. OTEP. Now they've been around for quite a while. It's OTEP Shamaya, something along, oh, I can't remember exactly her name. It's something like that. They've been around for quite a while. They've got quite a lot of albums out. This one I don't actually recognise a huge amount of the tracks off of. Trick, T-R-I-C, definitely for sure. And Empty, oh, and Filthy. So actually, yeah, no, I do recognise quite a few tracks off of this. They are, how would I describe the genre? It's a tricky one, actually. Probably just kind of like nu metal, but then there's also some like, there's definitely some rap elements, or like some fast-paced vocals throughout it, or throughout their sort of discography. This is one of their earlier albums, if I remember rightly, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, I would probably say Filthy is the track that like really sticks out as I know how it sounds. But I didn't actually realise I had this full album. I knew I had like a single somewhere of OTEP, but I didn't realise I actually had the full thing. So I'm not sure where I got it from. Pretty disturbing imagery on the front, if I'm honest. I'm not sure quite how she's got stuck inside there, but she obviously has. Yeah, give OTEP a bit of a listen. You might just bounce straight off of them, but they've got an interesting sound. Oh, it's a best of. The Ozman cometh, and as he cometh back to the UK, this has got quite a lot of good tracks on it, if I'm being completely honest. You've got Black Sabbath, War Pigs, Crazy Train, Mr. Crowley, Paranoid, Bark at the Moon, Shot in the Dark, Crazy Babies, No More Tears, like, so many good Ozzy Osbourne tracks. Now obviously quite a lot of those are Black Sabbath tracks as well, like War Pigs, Black Sabbath, Paranoid. Now the Paranoid version on this CD, from what I remember, is a live one, and it's a live one with Randy Rhoads. Again, obviously he passed away a while ago now, but he was quite iconic. Iconic guitar as well. There's a image, and I was correct. Yeah, Paranoid live with Randy Rhoads. So that's really cool. Bark at the Moon is a great track. Mr. Crowley, Crazy Train. Crazy Train's one of those songs that has got just that guitar riff, right? Like, It's such a good intro riff. It's one of the songs that I remember seeing a YouTube video on someone playing guitar for the first time. I can't remember which channel it was. But they'd actually had edits as well, so it wasn't just a webcam setup. It was like they had 2 cameras, they were cutting between them. This is early YouTube, so it's like, what is this? This is like much more advanced than the video called Guitar by Fun2. Yeah, no, so in terms of tracks, the Paranoid live version I remember being incredibly cool, because it's got a really cool guitar, like a really nice sort of flowing guitar solo in it. It's Randy Rhoads, obviously. But tracks like Bark at the Moon and Crazy Train, War Pigs is just such a... oh, it's such a good song. Like, War Pigs is probably my favourite Black Sabbath song if I had to pick one. Just the way that it, you know, you've got the calm, you've got then the guitar stabs, the down, and then Ozzy's vocals, and then the bow 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 down 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 bow bow. It's a really fun riff to play, but aside from that, it's also just a really nice track. It's got loads of different parts to it as well, and I do quite like progressive music. You might have got that already. So that it kind of fits with my, you know, what I like to listen to, because it does go through like the different movements in some ways, lots of different sections and parts to it. But anyway, Ozzy Osbourne, I'm sure you guys must know some of his tracks. If not, Crazy Train, Mr. Crowley, War Pigs, Paranoid. That would probably be the 4 I'd say go for. Bark at the Moon actually as well, really good track. And the best ofs continue. Eagles! Eagles Greatest Hits. Sorry, the complete Greatest Hits. It's a double CD. Loads of really good songs on here. Most people know of the Eagles for Hotel California and Take It Easy, I would say. Probably is the other Eagles track if people had to name 2. Maybe Witchy Woman? Maybe up there. But obviously there's Peaceful Easy Feeling, Tequila Sunrise, Life in the Fast Lane. Like, there's so many good tracks. After the Thrill Is Gone as well. There's a lot of good tracks by Eagles. It's not the Eagles, by Eagles. I would, if I was to recommend one Eagles track to listen to, if you've never heard them before, what would it be? It's hard to not say Hotel California, because it's so iconic. It's got such a good chorus, it's got such a good guitar solo at the end as well. However, Life in the Fast Lane is also really nice. It's got a lovely guitar riff to start it off, big chorus, fun song. I would say one of those 2 tracks would be what I'd go for. Let's have a quick look and see what's on the inside of the lyric book. There's a CD in here. There's a CD inside the lyric book, because of course it's a double CD set, so interesting. Have we got a story? What do we reckon? Just images by the looks of it. There's a couple. And there's a few more. Yeah, so there's lots of that, and then it's just like advertising all the different albums that they've got, and that's basically that. That's what that covers. So yeah, that's the Eagles. Already recommended a few tracks for you to give a listen to. I'm sure most of you already would have heard of Hotel California. I'd be surprised if not. I would be very surprised if not. I'm not sure what's happened to the CD as well. It's really battered, but it's a cool cover. I quite like the wingsuit or whatever this design is meant to be. Oh! Eighth Nerve. Okay, this is a bit of a weird one. This is back from a town that I used to live quite close to. I went into the HMV. This was like 2-3 quid or something, and it had like support local music or something, and it was a local band CD. So Eighth Nerve, Traverse the Sky. They were a metal band. I don't know how far they got. I haven't really looked up any of their progress. I seem to remember the songs being okay. I don't know if you'll be able to find them anywhere online, because again, I don't think they got particularly huge. They might have done. I might be completely wrong. Traverse the Sky, I seem to remember being the track to listen to, but they've actually got like proper lyrics in here as well, which is quite cool. And yeah, like I said, they were from basically where I was, but this entire thing is set up like a passport. So it's got like the crest on the front, it's got like pretend airline things, and then it's got the like pink styled, obviously I can't actually show you a passport, but like, you know what I mean, the styling of a passport page. I don't know if you'll be able to even find them anywhere. I will have a quick look actually when I get to editing these videos and see if they are on YouTube anywhere or not. If not, maybe I'll just put a full track at the end of that video so you can have a full listen without like me talking over the top and just see what you think. So that's Eighth Nerve's Traverse the Sky. A weird little short, I suppose it's EP really, because it's got 4 tracks on it. It's not really a single. But yeah, fun little release and a unique CD, to be honest. I don't know how many copies of that exist. Oh, we're reaching towards the end of this already. Kind of flown through this box. I've got a Feeder album. I don't really listen to much Feeder. I know Buck Rogers. I don't know any of the other tracks on here. I literally can recommend you Buck Rogers from here because it's the only song that I know off of it. I don't know a single other track. Yeah, so I'm not really sure what else there is to say about this album. And because of that, because I haven't given it much of a listen, we're going to do 2 albums in one. And we're going to do Rise Against, Siren Song of the Counterculture. Now, most of you will probably have heard of Paper Wings. And that is... So Paper Wings and Swing Life Away are the 2 big tracks for me off of this album. Paper Wings, again, is... No, it's not on Guitar Hero, is it? No, that's Prayer of the Refugee. But Paper Wings has such a good chorus. Like, Rise Against, kind of punky? Punk rock, sort of, I suppose would be the way I'd describe them. State of the Union's a good track as well, actually, thinking of it. Now that I'm sort of remembering actually what this album is. But Paper Wings and Swing Life Away. Swing Life Away is a bit of a slower song, but it's a really just nice vibey song. Paper Wings, much more upbeat. Rise Against use a lot of like octave riffing on top. If you know Rise Against, you probably know the song Saviour. That's a really fun octave riff to play on guitar. But off of Siren Song of the Counterculture, I would say Paper Wings would be the track I'd listen to. Then, if you fancy something slower, Swing Life Away. Otherwise, State of the Union's another good track. We're down to the final 2 CDs of this box. What could be inside, everybody? The very best of Deep Purple. Now, it's quite hard to have the very best of Deep Purple. They've got a lot of tracks. Like, a lot of tracks. But this has got Hush, Black Knight, Speed King, Child in Time, Strange Kind of Woman, Fireball, Demon's Eyes, Smoke of the Water, Highway Star, Where the Blind Man Cries, Never Before, Woman from Tokyo, Burn, Stormbringer, You Keep On Moving, Perfect Strangers, Ted the Mechanic, and Any Fool Know That. Now, if you know Deep Purple, you probably know Smoke on the Water. Smoke on the Water is most people's first riff they ever learn on a guitar because it's so simple. If you've ever played guitar, you've probably played Smoke on the Water. While it's a good riff, I actually don't rate it that high as a Deep Purple song personally. I think they have a lot better tracks. It's, you know, it's a nice story of, you know, a gig that's gone wrong and then there was fire at a hotel, if I remember rightly, something along those lines. I can't remember if it was at a hotel or at the venue, but something along those lines. But the actual tracks that I would like really rate off of here, Black Knight is a great guitar riff. Perfect Strangers is... Now, Dream Theater did a cover of Perfect Strangers at one point, which was really cool. I hadn't actually heard the original Deep Purple song at that point, so it made me go back and listen to it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a really pretty faithful cover. And the original track's obviously got a little bit more of that slightly vintage sound. Other tracks, you know, Hush, Burn. Again, the guitar riff, right? You might notice I like the guitar riffs now. Guitar riffs kind of play quite a large part. Woman from Tokyo as well. Really nice choruses, and yeah, no, Deep Purple, man. Like, if you haven't heard a Deep Purple track before, I don't know how, because they have been around for a long time. The lyric book is okay. It hasn't got lyrics. It's got like song credits, and it's got a article written by Hugh Gilmore about basically Deep Purple's history and sort of what they went through to get to the point they did, because this was after 30 years. I think it said at the start there, this was, yeah, 30th anniversary collection. So, and yeah, this was 1998, so they've been going 30 years in 98. So they've 54 years now. Yikes, that's so long. Pretty sure they're still touring. I know they released an album not that long ago, so I'd imagine they must still be going in some format. But yeah, Deep Purple. Great, I suppose classic rock, prog rock, probably more classic rock band. Like, so many good tracks. I've listed a load of them there, so give some of them a listen if you haven't listened to any Deep Purple before. I don't know how you would have, but yeah, give it a listen. Alright, final CD of the box, final CD of this recording session today, and it is Rated R by Queens of the Stone Age. Again, not one of my favourite Queen of the Stone Age albums. There's only really a couple of songs that I can remember, and that's Feel Good Hit of the Summer, which is the first track, and that's a very repetitive, drug-fueled song. It's a bit of a weird one. And Lightning Song as well, but again, I couldn't hum it. I couldn't say what it sounds like. It's ringing a bell from somewhere. So I think if I was to recommend a track to listen to, it'd probably be Feel Good Hit of the Summer. What's the second disc got on it? Is the second disc like live versions? It's a 2-disc version. So I wonder if the second one's live versions, because it's got You're So Vague, Who'll Be Next in Line. It's got 2 versions of Feel Good Hit of the Summer. What? It's not even going to tell me inside, is it? No, it's not. Oh dear. Yeah, no, it's not actually. There's nothing in this at all. It's what looks like a. I don't know what that is. I don't want to show you because I don't think I can. Yeah, interesting lyric book. I'm really not sure what that was. I suppose Feel Good Hit of the Summer, but again, I'm struggling to think of tracks from it. So yeah, Queens of the Stone Age, Rated R, Feel Good Hit of the Summer, give it a listen. But it's just Queens of the Stone Age, man. There's one album, we haven't come across it yet, I don't know where it is. There's one album that I really, really like by them. Most of the others I just can't quite get into. So yeah. See you later. Welcome, new location. We're on top of the table. Right, first CD from the top of the table is Periphery's, well, Periphery 1. So this is Periphery's first album. This is the album that has Icarus Lives on it. And that is probably the track I would recommend. I can't say I've listened to this Periphery album that much. 2 and 3, loads. Alpha Omega, loads. This first one, not so much. Not so much. I always remember like the Icarus Lives outro with like the weird sort of 50s radio guy, I suppose would be the way I'd put it, doing all the announcing and stuff like that. Yeah, so I'd probably say give Icarus Lives a listen because it has got a fantastic riff. It's a killer riff. Outside of that, I don't really remember the album. I think I probably picked it up because I'd heard Periphery 2 and 3 and really liked them, so I thought I may as well try their first album. didn't quite hit the same. Didn't quite hit the same. Next up, we have got, oh, Il Nino. Il Nino. Now this band, I don't really know a huge amount. Again, this is one of those super cheap CDs that I got that I thought I'd give a listen to. I listened a little bit to it. I didn't really enjoy the style. There's the booklet. It's pretty wide. It's got a lot of thanks. Holy moly, they wanted to thank a lot of people for this album. Hey, I don't blame them. It's, you know, it's always a good thing. Thank the people that have helped you along the way. But I don't even know a track off this album I would recommend. It's just not an album I've listened to very much. It's one that I picked up when I was just like, I want to find new music. And I was finding all sorts, and half of it I wasn't actually enjoying. Il Nino, I'm pretty sure, was one of those, unfortunately. So, sorry. And continuing the bands I've not listened to very much, we've just had Il Nino. We've now got Meshuggah. Now, everyone knows Meshuggah's Bleed, right? It's such a mental song. I don't know how they play it live. Like just the time signature, like the riff rhythm is crazy. Off this album, which is Destroy, Erase, Improve, I only actually recognise the first track. Like I said, I've not listened very much. The first track is Future Breed Machine, but I haven't listened very much. I've got a top 20 campaign from 2005 here, including an advert for the first In Flames DVD ever. Woo! 2005, really? I have that album as well. I have that Thunderstone album. That one in the bottom right. I don't think I've come across it yet, but I've definitely got it somewhere. Tools of Destruction, that was it. See if there's any other CDs on here. Oh, of course, there's two In Flames albums, both of which I've got. Fun little promo thing. Actually, inside the Meshuggah booklet itself, it is a pretty traditional actual lyric booklet by the looks of it. There's lyrics, there's all sorts of imagery going on. Yeah, but Meshuggah, not a band that I've listened to a huge amount, unfortunately. Like I said, Future Breed Machine is the track that I recognise off of the album. If you're just looking for a Meshuggah track to listen to, probably give Bleed a listen, because it's just ridiculous. Yeah, like some of the live versions, it's just crazy how they can go like that. Crazy. A fun rock album next. ZZ Top's Greatest Hits. The Men with the Beards. The Men with the Beards. So it's a Greatest Hits album. So of course it has got all of their classics, you know. Give Me All Your Lovin', Lagrange, Sharp Dressed Man, Tush, Viva Las Vegas. The version of Viva Las Vegas is a fun one that's on here. For me, ZZ Top, first heard them in Guitar Hero 3 with Lagrange, and that fantastic pinch harmonic solo is just like that. That was a perfect impression. Don't say anything. That's probably, it's got to be Lagrange. The guitar solos in it are so fun. What do we got here? Okay, inside the booklet we have an article by Bob Merlis and David C. And it looks like it's got like a paragraph of stuff basically on most tracks. So for example, here we've got For Sharp Dressed Man. The title to this ode to Natty Threadbearers was inspired by a bit player cast credit in a long forgotten movie. Ironic, isn't it, that Dusty, a man who has always considered himself immune to fashion, Billy and Frank take no issue, should have helped start the stick, pin and silk suit craze. So, yeah, I mean, look at them. Look at them in that picture. Legends. Legends. So, for ZZ Top, all those tracks I like listed at the start would be ones I'd say are kind of essential listening to. They are just your sort of your classic rock, like actually classic rock. Like I said, La Grange is probably my favourite just because of the amount of guitar solos that are going on with it, and again that comes from me playing guitar. Sharp Dressed Man as well, I'd say probably would go like 2. So if you only got time for a couple of tracks, they'd be the ones I'd say listen to from ZZ Top. I love it. We have got another best of album, this time Testament, a classic thrash outfit. Now, Testament have been around absolutely yonks. I think they were just after like the initial thrash metal scene was coming out in California. I think it was like a year or 2 after. Let's have a little look. Yeah, so they started in '87, so they were kind of around about that time. They started as Legacy. But yeah, they obviously a similar sort of time, a little bit later than Metallica, right? They were mid-80s. Isn't it like 86 was Master of Puppets, something like that, or is it 84? Not sure. I think 91 is the Black Album, so obviously it'd be before that. Anyway, back to Testament. What Testament tracks would I recognise, or would I recommend? Again, in here there's a little story, and there's a little bit of a story about like each individual track as well, which is pretty cool. I like that. And I've actually opened it on one of my favourites here, Into the Pit. It's got a great riff. If you know the song Laid to Rest by Lamb of God, I swear there's some influence there. They've got very similar riffs. Into the Pit is a fantastic track. Practice What You Preach, The Haunting, The New Order, Electric Crown, like Over the Wall. Oh wait, no, Over the Wall is a track. The version on here is a live version, and it's got a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy in the version. So it's Testament, man. Thrash metal is like my jam. So yeah, Into the Pit, Practice What You Preach, The Haunting, or Electric Crown, or even Over the Wall. Like, they've got so many good songs, and that's just on this best of album. Yeah, crazy. Oh, Disciples of the Watch as well. Just give Testament a listen if you like thrash metal. If you like Megadeth, Metallica, Anthrax, Slayer, any of that, you'll probably like Testament. So we've just had the best of Testament, and we've now got Formation of Damnation. So this was their latest album that came out when I first started listening to them. So like, this was like the latest release, so I got it. It's a much more modern sounding record than I was used to from that best of album. However, it's a big sound. There's a big sound. Like, if you listen to More Than Meets the Eye, it starts with this like drum fill that's like oh, such a good riff. Such a good riff. The Persecuted Won't Forget, Henchman Ride, and The Formation of Damnation, and More Than Meets the Eye, they're all on here. This is a good album. Now, people probably... I reckon people probably don't necessarily rate this album as much as some of like their earlier albums, because they're not, you know, it's not quite a classic thrash sound. But it's got some good tracks, some really good tracks. Not as thrashy, it's a little bit slower. But like I said, it's a big guitar sound going on. It's a... whether it's nostalgia because it was like the first new album of Testament that I listened to, I'm not sure. Oh my days, don't they look epic here? That is fantastic. I don't think I've ever opened this because it's like completely sealed. All on the others are just your classic lyric pages and stuff like that, so don't worry too much about the rest of this stuff here. But yeah, Testament, Formation of Damnation, so many good tracks. More Than Meets the Eye would probably be the one I'd say listen to, but if you just listen to the first 2 tracks, because from what I remember, For the Glory Of, which is track 1, is like literally just like an intro track. rather than a full song. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it literally just is a song that leads then into More Than Meets the Eye. It's just, like I said, it hits really hard at the start. Yeah, really, really underrated album, I think. Love it. Next up, Theatres des Vampires. What do I say about this album? What on earth do I say about this? So this is a band that it's all music about vampires. So, what songs on here do I recognise? Oh, Dances with Satan, I seem to remember being a pretty unusual track. They are very dark sounding, and you know, it's that sort of not quite black metal, but very well. I mean, look at the makeup. Should probably tell you all there is to know. There's not many lyrics going on. Oh, Lift's Child as well is another one. They're not really for me. They have quite a lot of, I think they're French. Theatres des Vampires. And from what I remember, it's not all in English. Now, I don't know if some of it is Latin or French. Let's see, is there anything on the back here? No, it didn't say anything. They're a very unusual band. Maybe I don't know if they've got music videos. Maybe have a little look, just like watch a music video and see what you think. Theatres des Vampires, Bloody Lunatic Asylum is the album. Dances with Satan, I seem to, like, somewhere in my brain it's ringing something. Until the Last Drop of Blood, which is the second track on the album as well. It's a very a unique band, is what I'd probably say. Okay, next up, an album I actually mentioned not that long ago. Thunderstone, Tools of Destruction. So I noticed this was being advertised in one of the others. This is a power metal band. And yeah, oh wait. I don't recognise any of the tracks. Is this not the album I was thinking it is? I think this isn't the album I was thinking it is. What album was that? I don't recognise any of these. Tool of the Devil, Without Wings, Liquid of the Kings, I Will Come Again, Welcome to the Real, The Last Song, Another Time. Is this the band I think it is? I thought this was like a power metal band. Maybe I'm completely wrong. No, they look like they're from a power metal band. Yeah, that looks very power metal to me. But I don't remember the tracks. I'm gonna have to give this another listen at some point because I was sure it was what I thought it was. Yeah, I don't have any tracks to recommend because I don't recognise any of the tracks. Interesting. Alright, well, I'm going to have to go and give this a listen because I don't remember it at all. Maybe give the Liquid of the Kings sounds like a cool track. If I was to go just off of the names of them. Liquid of the Kings and Weight of the World sounds good as well. But yeah, I don't know anything about this album, apparently. It's not the album that I once thought it was. So, who knows? Next up, okay. Not one of the better 30 Second to Mars albums. In fact, definitely not one of the better ones. There's a couple of tracks on here. I mean, they don't even have the track listing on the back, which isn't really a good sign. Instead, it's on the back of here. Unusual. Pretty nice colour on the CD. In terms of the tracks on here, I only really remember Up in the Air. That's got like bam 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 bam. That's That sounded absolutely nothing like it. But if you know the song, hopefully you know what part I was meaning. These are cool. So they've obviously gone for a kind of minimal style where they're not actually going to include all of the lyrics for you. But there's lots of images and stuff like that. And yeah, the rest of the lyrics just don't exist apparently. So, you know, what you're going to do, a pretty moody picture of them. Yeah, but outside of Up in the Air, I don't really remember any of the other tracks off this album. It's definitely not my most listened to 30 Seconds to Mars album. Definitely not. So, yeah, give Up in the Air a listen. I don't know any of the other tracks, so that'll have to be it for this one, I think. Okay, I've seen the next album. Yes, beauty. So, this was another CEX pickup. Pendulum's Immersion. Yes, it is Immersion. This is the album that has Watercolor on it. It also is the album that has the collaboration with Pendulum and In Flames called Self vs. Self, which is such a weird clash of styles, but it really works. I know fairly recently Enter Shikari and Pendulum I think they performed together at Reading. I know Pendulum were doing a mashup of Sorry You're Not a Winner. I haven't listened to it yet, I haven't had a chance. So that's kind of cool. It's nice that they like to mix and do stuff with people. It also has The Islands Part 1 and Part 2, which is then, like, if you listen to them both back to back, it flows really well. My favourite of those two parts is actually Part 2. It goes a little bit harder. Oh, it has Crush on it as well. There's some really good tracks on this album. Witchcraft too. Yeah, like, Pendulum has so many good albums. Like, really, they have a lot of tracks. And funnily enough, I was at work, when was it? At least a year ago now. And I was listening to Pendulum on we had a speaker set up. And I was listening, and of course, like, I was working in a supermarket and there were students there, and they were like, I have no idea who this is. And I was like, oh no, I feel so old. How do you not know who Pendulum is? What's going on? Really cool, like, big spread going on in here. Called Jellyfish, as well as what looks like some actual lyrics. No, they're not lyrics, they are just sort of song credits and then thanks on the back. But yeah, Pendulum Immersion has so many good tracks. To be honest, I would just say listen to the whole thing. Just sit down, put it on when you're playing some games or something. Like, yeah, say you're playing a game of League, just pop the album on, go. So you're doing an hour of a boss in an MMO, pop it on, go. There's really good tracks. And there's obviously been so many covers of stuff like Watercolor and Witchcraft as well. But yeah, no, Self vs. Self is probably the track I would say to listen to, but that's because I really, really like In Flames. Especially like around that sort of the mid-2000s. In Flames is weirdly one of my favourite eras for them. I know a lot of people like earlier stuff. But yeah, the sort of early mid-2000s In Flames, and this was 2010 I think it came out. So just a little bit after, but yeah, give Immersion a listen to. It's such a good album. All right, next up, Mastodon. Did I pay £8 for this? Oh no, this is not one of their better albums. Why did I pay £8? Like, this is really not one of their better albums. I think it's because I wanted to get like all the Mastodon albums at one point, and I don't remember actually doing it. £8. Ugh. I don't even remember. I don't recognise a track off of this. Like, I don't know how any of these tracks go. That's how much I've ended up listening to this one. Some great names for songs. Octopus Has No Friends. Blasteroid. Black Tongue. Creature Lives. Bedazzled Fingernails. Like, these are some amazing names. I just don't think I've listened to this album very much. I've listened to a fair bit of Mastodon over the years. I actually saw them live. That was around the time... Oh, what was that album called? Which album was it? the album that had One Way Round the Sun We Go on it. It was around that time, which was, it was a crazy show. There was so much going on. But, yeah, actually not one of the better shows I've been to. They were like okay live, but didn't really stand out to me. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know any of the tracks off of The Hunter. Not one of their more well-known albums, that's for sure. Next up, Spinal Tap. Now, I hope you guys have watched the Spinal Tap movie. That was fantastic, showing you the cover, by the way. There's nothing on it. Tonight I'm Gonna Rock You Tonight is amazing. Stonehenge is a fantastic track as well. Listen to the Flower People, you can't go wrong with. This whole thing's falling apart. America as well. So Spinal Tap's like a Mickey Take documentary style film thing. And it's fantastic. There's so many, like, I'm pretty sure from what I remember, some of the tracks are kind of based off of it. I might be wrong. But the album is amazing. I would say definitely give it a listen. And yeah, Stonehenge is probably the track I would recommend from this album. It's a good fun one. It's been so long since I watched the film, though, I can't really remember it. It's where the whole No Stairway meme comes from, which is don't play Stairway to Heaven in a guitar shop. That originated in the Spinal Tap film. Yeah, I would say go and watch the film, to be honest, rather than listen to the album. Because from what I remember, it's very funny, especially if you're into music, if you know sort of, you know, some of the tropes and that sort of stuff, and like genre tropes and whatever, you'll probably enjoy it a lot. So yeah, give Spinal Tap film a listen to. Sorry, I got distracted because a giant pigeon just landed on the bird table outside. What are you doing? No, I see you. Yeah, you see me. Okay, I've just found the Mastodon album that came out when I went to... No, it wasn't this one. Alright, next up is Mastodon's Crack the Sky? Yeah, Crack the Sky. Really cool artwork on this one. This is the album that has Oblivion. It has the Tsar, which is like a, I think, 4-part. 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4-part like epic track. Crack the Sky itself as well is a really good track, and Divinations. This album has a lot of nice tracks on it, but that artwork is so cool. So cool. I kind of want to have a look and see what's in the booklet. It's obviously sort of Tool-esque in some ways as well. Oh my, look at this. Really cool. Really cool. And there are, by the looks of it, actual lyrics as well. Nice and condensed though. It's literally like a 3-page thing that you fold down and that's it. Yeah, so Mastodon, Crack the Sky, give Oblivion a listen to, and Divinations as well. If you've got a bit of time, sit down and listen to the whole of the Tsar. This album I definitely listened to a lot more than The Hunter that we had a few days ago. Fantastic tracks. Yeah, great album. Give it a listen. Alright, it's time for... It's another best of, don't you know it? Best of Aerosmith. Another classic rock band. Now, if you have listened to music, you've probably heard an Aerosmith song. To be honest, you may not know it as Aerosmith, but they have so many tracks that are like pretty well known. You've probably listened to them even without realizing. Dream On, you know, that song that Eminem did, but it wasn't Eminem that did it. It was Aerosmith first, and he obviously sampled it. Same Old Song and Dance, Walk This Way. They're the original guys that did Walk This Way, and then obviously they did the collab with Run DMC, and then it also got covered, didn't it, in the 2000s by the girl group, I don't remember which one. One of those, like, Sugar Babes groups, one of those, I don't know if that's the right one, it's one of them. Sweet Emotion, Dude Looks Like a Lady, like, there's so many fun tracks from Aerosmith. In fact, on here are both the versions of Walk This Way, the like mixed version. Crying as well. Love in an Elevator. Like, Aerosmith have a lot of good tracks. They really do. Probably your best bet would be just go to Spotify and listen to like their most played ones if you haven't heard of Aerosmith. They're not my favourite classic rock band, but they're not terrible. Not terrible at all. We've got a lot of songs that are, you know, they still hold up today. Oh, that is a very American photo. What is going on there? And that album cover is absolutely awful. I don't know if you know, but it also said it won't play on PC or Mac, which I'm not sure quite what that means. The CD was designed not to be recognised by a DVD drive? I'm kind of confused. Yeah, so obviously Steven Tyler, Joe Perry, Brad Whitford, Tom Hamilton and Joey Kramer, Aerosmith, and they've got so many tracks. I'm sure you guys must have heard some of them. If not, go to their Spotify and just listen to the top 5. That's literally my recommendation, because their top 5 tracks on there will definitely be on here. Oh, what was this album? Okay, I don't remember this at all. Therapy, Hats Off to the Insane. Yeah. What is going on the cover? What? So there's only 6 tracks on here. They're all pretty short. They're like 2.5 minutes. There's one that's 4 minutes. I don't have a clue what this album is. I don't know what's going on the back there. I don't know this album. I do not know this album. Let's have a look and see what's inside here. Actual lyric book. Yeah, actual lyric book. And then some more images and stuff like that going on. But yeah, I don't really know this band. They've got a little... Look at this. They have a little like form that you could send off, and they'll send you a gift. It's basically, what's it got? So it's got, you know, fill out your details of who you are. Why did you buy this album? What are your favourite songs? Are you aware of the other Therapy releases? And what radio stations do you listen to? You send it off and they'll send you a gift. Well, that's a bit of fun. I don't have a clue what this band sounds like. I literally don't know what genre they are. I don't know a thing about them. I'm going to have a quick look on my phone and see if I can find out. Hang on. Like, I sort of recognise Therapy / music artist. Northern Irish rock band from Larne. Interesting. See, now I've typed in Therapy on Google. I'm just going to get adverts for all kinds of stuff, but well, I don't think I need it. I'll give this a listen. I have no idea what to expect. Screamager is a great name for a track, so I'll definitely give that a listen to. But I don't know what else this album is. That's a fun little thing with a little survey there. Interesting that they're a Northern Irish band, yet that had like states and it was very US based. So I wonder where that CD's been. I wonder like what journey it's taken. I didn't realise I bought this album. I feel like I've borrowed this from someone and not given it back. But I don't know who and I don't know when. It's Royal Blood. Now, Royal Blood are a fun band, right? There's literally 2 of them. The drummer and the bass player. Now, the bass player obviously has all sorts of pedals to affect the sound of his bass, to make it sound a bit more like a guitar. I think the drummer is the vocalist. I might be wrong. It might be the bass player. I haven't listened to anything past their first album, which is what this one is. Let's see what we got. Yeah, it's literally the two of them. An image, there is, sort of the rest is just kind of standard lyric book stuff. But yeah, it's literally the two guys, and they do make a big sound for for being two instruments at once. Figure It Out is a fantastic track. Little Monster as well is one of those ones that really took off, at least over here in the UK. I don't know about worldwide how well these guys did, but in the UK they went massive for a little bit. I haven't listened to them recently, so maybe I'll give them more recent albums to listen to. But yeah, Figure It Out or Little Monster would be the two tracks I'd say to listen to if you don't know the band. Guess what? It's best of time again. Wait, no, it's not best of time. No, this is just a... Wait, is it? Yes, it is. I don't know, because I don't really know the Yardbirds, so I don't know if this is a... I'm pretty sure it is. Right? This has to be a best of. Has to be a best of. It's either a best of or it's a re-release, but I'm pretty sure it's a best of, judging by what's going on in there. So this is Yardbirds' Heart Full of Soul. In terms of Yardbirds tracks, Train Kept A-Rolling is the only one that I recognise, and I'm pretty sure I've only heard the Aerosmith cover of it. I don't know if I've even heard the original. So, surprisingly enough, this album's not one I've listened to very much. I would have just picked it up really early, and yeah, but I mean, 'cause it's what, Jeff Beck and Clapton? They're both in the Yardbirds, right? So it's like one of those really early rock, like, guitar player legends. They started out in the Yardbirds, or at least I think they started in there. So yeah, in terms of tracks, I've got to say Train Kept A-Rolling would be the one, because I don't recognise any of these other songs as ones that, you know, I'd be able to tell you this is what it sounds like. So that's all I've got. That's all I got to go off of. It's another album I got when I just wanted to listen to new music. But it's also a promotional copy only, not for sale. And it's Velvet Revolver's Liberation, or what is it called? Libertad? Libertad. Interesting. Now, I don't remember the track list, and the track list, oh, it is on the back. Is this the one that has Sliver on it? Because if it isn't, then I don't know any of the songs, because I don't know much Velvet Revolver at all. So, I think this is literally a CD that I've listened to maybe once. Oh wait, She Builds Quick Machines. That rings a bell. Because obviously Velvet Revolver are the band that Slash went to after Guns N' Roses. Sliver has got a great drop D riff to play on guitar. She Builds Quick Machines definitely rings a bell from somewhere, so I'd have to say that'd be the track I'd say to listen to off of this album, but I don't know much more about it. Let's have a quick look at the booklet inside, see what we got going. Come on, unfold, sir. So we've got, looks like all the lyrics. And then a fun little art bit there as well. So that's kind of cool. How does this fold down? Beautiful. Yeah, so I don't really know the album. Like I said, She Builds Quick Machines, I'm sure like that song stands out compared to anything else on there. But I still don't know exactly what it sounds like. Yeah, not listened to much of Velvet Revolver, but so that's what I can really say about it. Oh, I love it. Yes, it's another best of. The best of Unleashed. Viking metal. Fantastic. I can't remember exactly where they're from. It'll be Finland or Sweden or somewhere like that, I think. Maybe it'll tell me inside, actually. But this is a best of, and they've got some really cool tracks. Again, they're really fun to play on guitar. You do need a 7-string for it, but it's okay. It's fine. All of their songs are like Viking themes, that sort of Viking tribes and all that sort of stuff are all covered in it. Does it say where they were from? No. But there's just like a little message from the band at the start, and then they've actually got lyrics inside their best of album. In terms of tracks to listen to, Before the Creation of Time has got a really good guitar riff. Again, it's fun to play on guitar, it helps. Like that's stuff that I listen to a lot. Into Glory Ride, Execute Them All, War Machine, Death Metal Victory is a fun one. I'd say give that a listen, but also Before Creation of Time and Dead Forever. Oh, there's so many good tracks on here actually. They're it's one of those weird albums that I picked it up hoping that I'd enjoy it, and I actually kind of got into the sound a bit, which is weird because I don't normally like that sort of death metal stuff, but I think because of some of the theming and stuff like that, some of the tracks just clicked with me. I don't know, I loved it. Yeah, Death Metal Victory and Before the Creation of Time would be the 2 tracks I listen to. Give it a go. Unleashed. Okay, a pretty recent Muse album, Drones. And again, my favourite tracks off of Drones are tracks that are fun to play on guitar. So that is Reapers and Drones itself, because Drones is a nice simple song to play, so you can't really go wrong with it. It's got a nice sounding riff, it's got the lovely solo bit, and yeah, so I actually saw Muse on the Drones tour, and for the Globalist, I think it is the Globalist the last track? Yeah, the incredible long one. There's like blimps and all sorts going on. Oh, The Handler's a really good song as well, and Dead Inside. There's not bad tracks off of here actually. And they had like, it was at the O2 in London, and they had the stage in the middle, and they had sort of platforms on either side, and they had curtains that went down, and stuff was projected onto them. And for The Handler, they had like puppet strings, and they were linked up to where they were stood on the stage. It was really cool. Really cool. And actually that gig had Nothing But Thieves as the support act from Muse, which was, if anything, almost better. Like, they were really good, Nothing But Thieves live. Really good. So yeah, Muse, Drones, Reapers, Drones, The Handler would be the 3 tracks I'd say give a listen. It's not a bad album. I mean, yeah, it's better than Second Law for me. But nothing beats Black Holes and Revelations. Mithras, eh? Now, the drumming on this album is ridiculous. It's insane. I assume it is an actual drummer, because some bits are so fast. It's 2 guys, Rainer Koss and Leon Macy, and there is a lot of music, like there's a lot of musical skill going on in some of these tracks. It's very full on. It's very just fast-paced metal sounds. These are pretty, not fantastic kind of booklet. I do like the front art though. It's really cool. So it's called Behind the Shadows Lie Madness, which is a very Lovecraft kind of name, and I do like Lovecraft stories. Obviously the man himself had some interesting views, but the stories are, I don't know, some of the whimsical words he uses are very interesting. So if I was going to say tracks to listen to, it's hard to say. I would say just listen to the first 2 tracks. I can't remember if the first one's just a intro track, but if it's not, it starts with just full on like mental drumming speed, absolutely crazy. So yeah, Mithras, Behind the Shadows Lie Madness. A slightly unusual one. Again, this is one I got for really cheap. And kind of, you know, it's stuck in my head better than some of these other ones that I've got. So yeah, give the first couple of tracks a listen. I don't even know if they've got new music or not, but by the looks of it, it was literally two guys, and then I'd assume they maybe had touring artists or touring musicians that would come with them as well. So yeah, give it a listen. Next up, ah yes, Metallica, Death Magnetic. So this was the first Metallica album to come out after I started listening to metal music. And it's the most overproduced, weird, loud, distorted album ever that unfortunately kind of ruins it. It's got some really good tracks. All Nightmare Long, The Day That Never Comes, Cyanide, My Apocalypse, That Was Just Your Life. Like, there's good tracks on here. The problem is, the mix is so loud and distorted and horrible. I don't normally notice it, but on this album, it's hard to not. It really is. It's a shame. And it was made even worse by the fact that when they brought out the Guitar Hero DLC, it was a better mix. It wasn't push the volume to as loud as we possibly can. It was much more managed. Oh, this is weird. Why does it come out sideways? Okay, let's have a look and see what's going on inside here. Okay, well, the coffin seems to be on every single page. Yep. So that's Suicide and Redemption's the instrumental one, but it's a good album. It's just the mix is not quite there. Oh look, and right at the end it is. There's no more ground around it. It's off to the light. But yeah, The Day That Never Comes is great. I think it was the first first single, so I'm pretty sure there's a music video for it. I would say give that a listen to. All Nightmare Long as well. They're both long tracks. Broken Beat and Scarred as well actually has a really nice like guitar riff intro to it. It's got a lot of good tracks on the album. I just wish it was produced a little bit better. So yeah, Metallica's Death Magnetic. Oh, Live Pantera. Official Live 101 Proof Pantera. I didn't really... I don't know. Their live sound, while it's like impressive, and I've said before, the Domination live at the Moscow Monsters of Rock Festival was the first like exposure I had to Pantera, and it's crazy and it's live and it's got a live mix. Some of the recording and stuff just doesn't quite, I don't know, it's not, you lose a little bit of the nuance, which is, you know, I mean, it's natural, right? Because it is a live recording, it should be raw, it should be loud, but I don't know, I didn't feel like it was quite there. From what, like, it's been ages since I actually listened to this album. Oh, folds out. For like a little mini poster thing. Pretty cool. But I don't know. Like, the track listing on here is really good. Like, it's a really good set. So, I mean, it's hard to say don't go and listen to Cemetery Gates, because that's always fantastic. Interestingly, the song is called Hostile on here. That's definitely not what it's known as normally. But Walk, 5 Minutes Alone, Domination / Hollow is like, I remember that. That's like a weird kind of half and half like song, like mix, which isn't bad. There's I'm Broken on here too. So the track listing is great. I just seem to remember the mixing maybe putting me off slightly, similar to Death Magnetic, which we just had. I need to give it another listen though, because it has been a long time, so it might just be my brain making stuff up from other live albums, but yeah, Pantera, official 101 live, proof, well, something like that. So, from Pantera Live to the best of Pantera. This is one of the early CDs I got when getting into metal, and this has kind of all the songs you could ever want, as well as a bonus DVD with like the live version of Domination, Primal Concrete Sledge, and just music videos, which is a cool thing, right? Like this, I can't remember if these are remastered. I think it's remastered versions of the tracks as well, which, considering some of them were pretty early, having a remastered one was really nice. Yeah, because they started coming out in 1990, and I think this would have been like mid-2000s I picked it up. So I assume it came out fairly recently then. But track listing, ready? Cowboys from Hell, Domination, Cemetery Gates, Mouth of War, Walk, This Love That's Becoming, I'm Broken, 5 Minutes Alone, Where You Come From. That's like 10 tracks already that I'd say are bang right up there. Mouth of War is one of my favourites that I don't think is one of their more well-known songs, but it is quite well-known, but compared to like those first three. So yeah, Mouth of War and Drag the Waters is a kind of a different paced Pantera song, but I enjoy it. Let's have a quick look and see what the booklet is. Oh, I'm missing the CD as well, which isn't a good sign. And it looks like it is a little story. It is a story. Yeah, I love it. Including a... Wow. That's not the most flattering photo of you, Dimebag. R.I.P., but legend. Absolute legend. Yeah, so some fantastic tracks. It's, you know, it's Pantera, right? It's that groove metal sound and good, really good guitar riff. Just it's got a sound that I really liked. So yeah, Mouth of War would be the track I'd say listen to if you haven't. Next up, we got Slayer. Seasons in the Abyss. Sorry. This is the album that has War Ensemble on. As well as Spirit in Black. That's ring a bell. What is that? And Seasons in the Abyss as well, obviously. Surprisingly enough, that's on the album, called it. I would say, for this one, give War Ensemble a listen. It's got great drums. And, ooh, what is this? So, it doesn't look like there's actual lyrics. Oh no, there are. Oh, there are. So this folds out, so you got that lovely imagery. And then all the lyrics on the inside there. That's pretty cool. That's a nice fold out. So, yeah, I actually really like the like this sort of setup on the CDs. They look nice. What's it? Who's it? American, yeah. But in terms of tracks off Seasons in the Abyss, War Ensemble or Seasons in the Abyss would be the tracks I recognise and would say to give a listen to. Outside of that, I'm actually struggling to remember what any of these other tracks sound like. Like I said, Spirit in Black sort of rings a bell, but I'm not sure. So, yeah, and produced by Rick Rubin, of course, Slayer. Fantastic. Seasons in the Abyss. Oh, really? Oh. Look at it. Look at it. It is Slipknot. Wait, what's the album called? All Hope Is Gone. Yes, that's the one. So this, you know, it's the album with Psychosocial on it, right? It's the album with Gematria. Gematria? Gehenna, Sulfur, Dead Memories as well. Not my favourite Slipknot album. Psychosocial I've heard so much over the years, I can't get into it as much anymore. There used to be a jam My favourite Slipknot album is Volume 3. Some cool artwork to go with the lyrics in here. We've got this giant headed dude chilling out, running around. Corey, of course, hiding under the mask. So, and of course, the clown mask. Fantastic. The masks are so cool. So cool. I mean, if you know of Slipknot, you've probably heard the most well-known tracks off of this, which is definitely Psychosocial and probably Dead Memories. Maybe Sulphur actually would be up there. Gematria has got a really nice guitar riff in it, as well as Gehenna. So they'd be the two I would say to listen to. But it's not my favourite Slipknot album, not by a long way. But yeah, Slipknot, All Hope Is Gone. This is a funky one. This is a really funky one. Steve Vai's The Ultrazone. I don't really have much to say about this. Again, this was like when I was sort of getting into just guitar music. From what I remember, the Ultrazone, the track The Ultrazone, is a good one. And Voodoo Acid as well? Sort of rings a bell somewhere. But it's not one of Steve Vai's, like, you know, it's not one of his most well-known albums, really. Those two tracks would probably be the ones I'd say to go for. Oh my gosh, he got himself a bit messy for this. Look at that. Look at that, what a mess. Oh yeah, and some of the tracks aren't instrumentals. I forgot about that. Oh, what's going on in the back there? But yeah, no, some of them aren't instrumentals, so they do have actual lyrics inside the lyrics book. Surprise, surprise. But I don't really know a track to say to listen to. Man, what a mess he got in there. I said probably The Ultrazone. That immediately rings like some kind of bell, which is probably a phrase I've said so many times. Outside of that, hard to say. I think this next album is... So, we had Megadeth Greatest Hits, and I got this album at the same time as that. So this is the joint oldest metal album that I own. This is Metallica's Black Album. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone will know of Enter Sandman, Nothing Else Matters, Wherever I May Roam, Sad But True maybe as well, Holier Than Thou, and The Unforgiven. Like, there's a lot of good tracks on this album. It's obviously has a much slower Metallica record than all the ones prior, like Justice for All, Master of Puppets, Ride the Lightning. But it's got some classics that still stay to this day. That is very dark. I don't know if you'll be able to see. And even the lyrics, it's black on black, basically. It's very hard to actually read. An unusual decision, but obviously one that they wanted to. Like, you have to hold it at an angle, but you can see the snake as well. I don't know if you can actually see it. I've just got an itchy nose, so I was using this opportunity to give that an itch. Oh, there's a... Well, I just sneezed. But yeah, Metallica's Black Album. Songs I would recommend listening to. If you haven't heard Nothing Else Matters, probably that. It's a slow track, it's a different change of pace for Metallica, but it really does, you know, it's a song that holds up to these days. It's got a great guitar solo in it. Other tracks, obviously Enter Sandman, probably Holier Than Thou as well. It's quite a short track, but it's one of the faster tracks on the album. So yeah, Metallica's Black Album, I believe it's 1991. 31 years old. Crazy. In fact, maybe 32 by the time this video comes out. Oh, this is an interesting one. Rotten Sound. It's some kind of core. I don't know exactly which type of core. Corpon Nation. It's basically noise. I don't know. It was like insane. This is Cycle was the album. That is it math? Like it's not math core. It's like math grind or something. I don't really know what the genre is, but it's pure insanity. All of the songs are really short, and there's a lot going on in them. There are lyrics. There are lyrics. But like I said, I'm pretty sure most of the tracks are 2 minutes or shorter. It's a lot of just weird rhythms, stuff like that. Corpon Nation and Blind, I seem to remember, but it's been a long time since I listened to this, and again, it was one that I got cheap, so I thought I would just try it out, and yeah, it wasn't really for me. It's released by Spinefarm Records, so that should give you some idea. In Finland, a Finnish band, so yeah, it's an unusual sound, that's for sure. Getting towards the end of this box, we've got Rush. Rush. Which one's this? This is like Pictures, what's it called? Moving Pictures, that's it. Fantastic album. This is the album that has Tom Sawyer, YYZ, Limelight, and The Camera Eye, and Red Barchetta. It's actually only got 7 tracks on it, and I've just listed 5 of them that I can remember almost exactly how they go, which is a good sign, right? It's Rush, it's classic, right? Neil Peart, you know, doing his thing on the drums. Like YYZ is such a cool instrumental prog thing. Like Rush is such an influential band on so many of the like prog metal bands of today. Very simple on the inside, very simple lyrics, and thanks, and that's, I mean, I'm not surprised, right? Geddy Lee, that's it. Yeah, Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, and Neil Peart. Legends. In terms of tracks to listen to, Limelight is fantastic, Camera Eye is fantastic, YYZ is fantastic, Tom Sawyer is fantastic. The other 3 I don't remember quite as much, but all those 4 tracks especially are just, they bang. Bang, bang, bang. Limelight and YYZ would be the top 2, I'd say, though. Great tracks. Like, Rush is such a good band. I need to listen to some of their other albums more. This album I've listened to a ton. I've listened through 2112 quite a few times as well, but outside of that, I need to listen to some more. I like this. I like going for it. This has given me good inspiration to, you know, go back and listen to some of this music I haven't in ages and ages. We've already had 2 Testament albums this box, but here's another one. Testament's The Legacy. So this album has Over the Wall on it, which, if you remember rightly, on the best of one only had a live version, so this is the actual original recording version, as well as The Haunting. And First Track is Deadly. Oh, cracking album, 1987. So yes, slightly after like those first Metallica albums came out. Oh, look at how young they look. Look at that. Look at that. That's crazy. And something about these old style CDs where there's not artwork and stuff on them, I just really like. It's like a classic look. Let's go inside here. We've just got a lyric book going on. Lyric book, some pictures, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, Testament's The Legacy. Over the Wall again, I would say go listen to it. Great track. As well as The Haunting and First Strike is Deadly. There'd be the 3 I'd say on this one. Yes, you love to see it. Tenacious D. Tenacious D. This is their like first album, so before the film. Oh dear, it's fallen apart. That has like Keelbasser, One Note Song Tribute, Wonder Boy, Dio, Inward Singing, like Lee as well. Oh my god, that Lee. I forgot that song existed. If I were to recommend like 2 Tenacious D tracks, obviously it's Jack Black, Cut Gas, The Legends. The Legends. If there were to be 2 tracks, oh my god, like they must have had so much fun recording and writing all this music. It's hard to not say Tribute, that fantastic music video. As well as Lee. Lee is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous song. It's so silly. The music video is great fun. Yeah, give some Tenacious D a listen. And if you haven't seen the film, watch the film The Pick of Destiny. Fantastic. Oh, I didn't realise I had this. It's The Sweet. I don't know if this is a best of or if this is like the original album. I think I picked this up because it had Ballroom Blitz on it. Because outside of that, I don't recognise any of these other tracks. There's nothing else. This isn't even a booklet, it's just a sheet. There's really not much on here. Not much info at all. Ballroom Blitz is a fantastic song again. Guitar Hero 80s is where I heard it. I don't think I've listened to the rest of the songs on here, so I haven't got much more to say. Apart from, listen to Ballroom Blitz. Just do it. Do it. It was made in 2001. I don't know what this is. Is it a best of? It looks like a best of. If it's 2001, it must be a best of. Yeah, Ballroom Blitz. Give it a listen. Final CD is The Strokes. And okay, so this is the album that has Last Night on it. Now, outside of Last Night, I don't know any of the Strokes songs at all. I've not listened to this album very much at all. In fact, I don't know if I've ever played it front to back. I would have picked it up for super cheap at some point, and I think it was because I saw Last Night on there, which I think most people would know. So unfortunately, that's going to be the track that I say listen to. I haven't really got much more to say about it. Yeah, interesting cover as well. Let's have a quick look, and I mean, not sure what YouTube will think of the inside. Oh, the inside's fine actually. They got the band members, and then they've got the producers, which is cool that they were like, yeah, producers, you get a picture, you get a page as well. So interesting. So yeah, The Strokes. The Strokes, Is This It? And Last Night is the track that I recognise. I don't recognise any of the others. And that's the box done. Time for another one. Hello. It's been a while since I recorded one of these, and we have got a mess. That's what we got here. This is just a test. This is all mix CDs that I would have put together at some point, like a double CD. We've got a Monstercat mix one. We've got another Monstercat mix one. Stephen Walking. Tut Tut Sean. I don't know what I was doing. Ow. No idea what these ones are. That was one of my old work colleagues' band. They made a little EP called Warrior. I don't think it's on Spotify anymore. It was for a while, but that was fun. An Empty Spirit Box thing, which we'll go through in a bit. Oh, hang on. There's more mixtapes. More Monstercat. Random songs. Who knows what? Hello, dog. Who knows what again? Who knows what again? I have so many just blank CDs. Like, this one's called The Music. Track 4. What? Right. Well, what is all that mix? Hopefully this looks alright, because I've literally just set up to record. But that is
a huge collection of just random stuff that I found while digging through and finding my CDs. So I thought I'd do it as just one little thing, just to document the fact that I made my own little Monster Cat covers of whatever. Oh dear.